Hey guys, so you guys are probably wondering where I have been, like why I haven't been uploading videos, why I haven't been vlogging, none of that. I have to talk soft because I'm sleeping. But so yeah, I'm gonna make this video to update you guys and let you know like what's been going on. I'm still alive. I'm fine. So yeah, I was gonna vlog today, but I haven't really been doing much, so I just decided to update you guys. If I do anything later, like I'll put it in the video, but I'm not sure. Okay, so um these past 3 weeks we've been going through a lot of stuff. I guess the first thing, I guess it'll be like three story times, little story times. So grab a snack because it's gonna take a while. Sit down, relax. Okay, so the first thing that happened, Ramon got sick. He like kept having nonstop fevers. He would just cry all night and he would be like really warm. So we were like, that's not normal. We needed like get him checked out. And like we looked, it was his teeth. His teeth were coming in, like the canines. And we are like, maybe that's it. So we didn't think of nothing, but it wouldn't stop. So we ended up taking him to his physician or his pediatrician, and they ended up saying he had a virus, so they gave him like medicine for it, for the fever and all that. So that was that. And then I think it was the next day. Yeah, the next day after we took him to his doctor, I woke up to like he sleeps like this, like he'll sleep next to me and stuff. And I like woke up and next to me, his freaking ear was like there was a puddle of blood, like with pus and stuff in it. And I was like, oh my god, like I got really scared. So I took him again to his doctor and they're like, oh, his eardrum popped. So he had an ear infection. And I was like, oh my god, like great. He has virus already. Now he has ear infection. And they gave him like more medicine for that. 2 days later, I was changing his diaper and I noticed that like I lift his leg up whenever I like wipe his butt and stuff. And when I touched his leg, he was like crying and I was like, why is he crying? And then like I looked, like I grabbed it. I didn't know it hurt or anything, so I like grabbed it and he cried, and then I was like, okay, something's wrong. And I compared them, and the one that he was like that I would grab, he cried. It was swollen, and I was like, okay, what the heck? And then I called. It was a Saturday, so like his doctor's usually open on Saturday, but I guess that Saturday they weren't. And I called them, and they have like this nurse line, and they were like, oh, well, you should just bring him into the hospital so we could check him out. And I was like, okay. And then I took him to the hospital, and had red spots on it also, so they were like worried that it was like some kind of disease or something, or it could be in his bones and stuff. So he ended, like, long story short, he ended up having to stay 2 nights there, and they said he had a skin infection. So yeah, like that specific skin infection he had, they said it occurred like from anything, like a little ass scratch that he could have got on his leg, like it could have came from anything. So yeah, that was that. He had a freaking skin infection, he had an ear infection, and he was having fevers. So yeah, that was that. And then meanwhile this was all going on, when we had to stay at the hospital, we stayed 2 nights there for his skin infection thing. I started getting sick, like my throat hurt, and I would like have fevers and stuff, and like I would just suck it up because I had to take care of him, be there for him. So I was like, whatever, like it'll go away. And my mom, she had a throat, I guess she had a sore throat or something, and they gave her pills for it, and she just gave me those hoping that it would like go away, and it didn't. And then like once we got home after those 2 nights we stayed, like a couple days later, the my throat still hurt and I was still like had a little fever. So I was like, well, my dad was like, you should just go to the hospital, like see if you're okay. And I was like, okay, I guess. So he took me to the hospital. He took me to the one by his house, and it was kind of late, I guess, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna have to stay the night so we can look at it," because they said I had like what is it called? I don't know what it's called. I can't remember the name. I don't have my papers either, my discharge papers. But it's like basically, it's not a sore throat or anything like that. It's a ball of like pus that's in your throat, like by your tonsils. So they said I had that, and they were gonna have to keep me overnight. So they put an IV in me, and they were giving me antibiotics and stuff. And they took like a CAT scan of it and stuff. And then that's when they were like, that's when they were like, you have to stay overnight, and they had to transfer me to another hospital because at that hospital by my dad's house they don't have rooms to like stay in. So I had to be transferred in an ambulance to another hospital, and I stayed overnight. They gave me antibiotics and stuff, and so it was morning, and then like doctors kept coming in and stuff and checking on me, and they they basically said like if I was feeling okay, like I could go home, and I was, because I mean, I guess the medicine that they were giving me through the IV was super strong. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. I can swallow and stuff now. I went home, and they gave me antibiotics to like take and stuff. And then I was taking them for 3 days, and then like it still didn't go away. I couldn't really swallow that good, like eat that good and stuff like that. It was this was this was last week. So Ramon had a follow-up appointment for like his skin condition. So I took him to his follow-up, and then the doctor was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were at the hospital. You should have told me you were feeling bad and all this other stuff. I would have checked, like I would have checked you." And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah." I was like, "Well, it still kind of hurts." And she like looked, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, that's still big. The ball was still big." And she was like, "If you don't feel better, like in a day or so, you should go back and like get it checked out." And I was like, oh, "Okay." And then like I called my dad, because they would keep calling, my mom and dad would keep calling me like asking how I was doing and stuff, and I was still feeling bad. So then I told my dad like what she said, and she said that I should like go tomorrow or something. And he was like, "Well, you should just go today. I'll take you." And I was like, "Okay." And then so he took me to the one again by his house where they don't have rooms or nothing. And we waited a long time. We waited like 2 hours, and then they finally got me back to the room. And the doctor was like, "Oh, we can't really do nothing about it. The only thing we could do is do another CAT scan, and we don't want to put you through that again, like through the radiography or anything again." And I was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "Let me go see if another hospital could like drain it so you could feel better." And I was like, "Okay." And then she went and then came back, and she was like, "So we have a, we I called Barnes. They could drain it for you if you want, and you can drive there if you want, or we can take you in an ambulance." Like, well, we might as well drive because they charge for the ambulance. So we drove to the other hospital, and this one was downtown. And then we waited there again. We had to wait in the emergency, and we waited like 5 hours, literally 5 hours. It took forever. They took forever there. And then we finally got in the room, and then long story short, they ended up draining it, and it freaking hurt so bad. Like it hurt so bad. They had like push it with these tongs. They had to push the ball, like squish it basically, and it hurt so bad. They numbed me and stuff, but it still hurt. But yeah, basically, long story short, they drained it, and then they sent me home, and I felt way better. Like I could eat anything. I could eat. I could swallow. I could anything. I felt way better. And then they gave me antibiotics and stuff. So that happened. That was story number two. I freaking had a big ass ball in my throat. The first week was Ramon. The second week was me, and then this past week is my fiance. Story number 3. Um, on Easter, we were playing kickball with like, it was us. We were like our family, and then African American family. They were like, "Oh, let's play kickball. Let's verse each other." And of course, Omar, my fiance, he is competitive, and he was taking the game way too seriously. And then he ended up, he said he heard a crack when he stepped, and then he like just started limping the rest of the game. And then he sat out because like I guess it was too painful. And we were just like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like we thought he sprained his foot or something, so we were like, we weren't too worried about it. We were just like, "Are you okay?" And then he just sat out. And then the next day he went to the urgent care, and they ended up telling him that he fractured it, so he had a broken pinky toe. And yeah, so that's story number 3. Basically, we've all been through it this past 3 weeks. Also, another thing, through all of this, my insurance and his insurance aren't at, like, I don't know, it's just this big ass deal. They haven't been active, so me and Omar, well, basically Omar, because I don't work, he's been having to pay for all our medicines, all our doctor visits, all this stuff. So we were like, it was just really stressful. And yeah, so finally our insurance are active, and now we're getting all that money refunded. But yeah, it was just really stressful. And I how could I vlog? Like, you guys should understand, I couldn't. I did take some pictures and stuff though, like of all of this. So meanwhile I'm talking through it, you guys will probably see the pictures and stuff. But yeah, if I do anything later, I'll vlog it and put it in here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't like boring. I hope you guys actually liked hearing about this. So yeah, I'll see you guys later, hopefully.